Though he will take on Antonio McKee, a controversial man who is questioned, among others, our own Boss Rutan and Guy Mesger. We think we got that straightened up because he's a boring fighter. Some would say, sans the boring title this time, Antonio. Here's what he had to tell us when he appeared on Inside MMA about fighting to defend his belt.
If it goes to a boring decision or I don't finish the fight, I'm going to retire. Because obviously the sport, to me, the way I see it, isn't developed or evolved yet to appreciate a guy like me in the sport. So I'll walk away and just be a great coach. You know, I'm going to go out here. It's not about winning this fight, because I already know if I go and do what I do, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out here now and try to entertain the fans and see if I can win entertaining the fans. And with all this smack, Alzavedo's talking, calling me old man and all that, it's really pulled something deep inside that I missed and left in the ghetto, that I went back to the ghetto and got it, and I can't wait to display it on TV. And that's the end of it.
Yeah, well, like we said before, though, McKee, you know, he's like that foreign movie.
Yeah.
You got to watch all the nuances, and I don't understand if a guy's winning, even if he's considered boring by some, he's still winning. You don't change your style. It's the half-court game or the fast break. If it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, but it don't always work for the promoter,
That's
too.
it.
The promoter doesn't.
And
if,
You know, there's going to be a lot of guys retire undefeated, 5-0, right? But they just can't get the next fight. And this guy's always going to get a fight, right? Because I mean, he's a show. I mean, he's a great fighter and he's a show.
The weird thing is that McKee claims racism. That's one of the most fascinating claims.
Yeah, no, you know, we would.
That's good for business. That's the best thing he's done for business.
Look at, Anderson Silva, Rashad Evans. Look at all these like black guys
we
that are
shut
very
that
famous.
down. We wouldn't let him play that. But
he's very talented.
Would you say it held him back, though, Joe? The fact, like Mark said, you know, he's not a flamboyant fighter. Do you think that's kept him from moving up? Because he's very terrific on the ground.
It's kept promoters from using him. That's what
I think the style more than anything.
But, you know, as a fan, it's an interesting problem. You know, a guy like that who's a very good wrestler, who's very cautious, who fights very conservatively, you know, that's a real issue to deal with. And the reality is that if a guy like that, like, I'm not a fan of stand-ups. I don't believe in them. I think a round is only 5 minutes, and if a guy like Sean Shirk can get on top of you and hump you for 5 minutes, tough shit. You know, you need to learn how to get off your back. You need to learn how to sweep. You need to learn how to counter. You need to learn how to try to attack off your back.
Yeah,
you got to learn how to do something.
Not everybody is an educated, like, you know, fight fan like you are. People want to see action, and if the guy is double-legging him and just holding on to him for 5 minutes, well, nobody wants to watch that.
If we introduce swords and tigers into the octagon, people would be upset if we pulled it out.
He can't declare racism.
Listen, I will gladly fight anybody with a trash can lid and a crowbar. I mean,
what I'm saying is, you know, the actual sport is, you know, there's moments of it which aren't exciting. But those moments are, look at baseball. There's huge, giant chunks of baseball that are boring as shit.
That's why they serve cold beer. You know, his problem isn't just his style, right? His problem is his age, too. Because if he was 21 and fought that way, then you can say, look, he's budding, he'll add more to his game. We want to see where he goes. But he's already talking about retirement, and this is his comeback, right? So if you're a promoter, again, this is just the business. I'm not saying it's fair, right? This is just the business side of it. It's like, guy wins, then what? Right? And it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of the business side of it.
Breaking news here, Rogan says no stand-up unless you got a microphone in front of you. That's the only time stand-up goes.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but I agree.
Well, something like it.
But I agree.
Anyway,
I just think that, you know, it's a part of the game. It's a part of the game.
And sometimes it gets pretty boring, though. It's like two boxers that only spar for 3 rounds.
But that's the fault of the guy on the bottom. He should be able to figure out a way to win. You got to be able to get up. You got to be able to sweep or attack off your back. That's it. You know, I mean, the idea that, like, two guys... You know what drives me fucking crazy?
What?
Is when someone's in a dominant position and they stand them up. Like, you know, like...
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it a couple times where a guy gets the mount and they're just kind of hanging out and
the referee stand them up. That's ridiculous.
Now for the highlights.
Hey,
Big Apple, nothing yet. But Bob Riley has been a vocal opponent. The assemblyman from New York does not want MMA. Last week he said it was too violent. This week, as Bo Vonsekun, our producer, continues this exclusive interview with Riley, he talks about the money. Would the financial reasons of MMA bring it to New York State?
Now, I'm very familiar with what the advocates say. Oh, we'll make money is the biggest thing. And invariably, I find whoever it is, Mark Ratner, the main lobbyist here for mixed martial arts, McCain, any of the politicians, they are originally against it. But when the money comes in, and they may benefit from that money, then they become for it. And so they sell out for the money. And Harry Reid, the head of the U.S. Senate, said, oh, Ultimate Fighting is just a good street fight. I love it. A good street fight? He loves it? The head of the Senate? Oh, wait. One of his good friends are the Fertitta brothers, who might be supporting his campaign. I don't know. But I find that egregious. How much is Dana White going to make, and how much is going to go back to Vegas is a question I always ask. And where does the money go? There would be a boom for some people. Madison Square Garden would make a lot of money, all right? Dana White would make a lot of money. The Fertitta brothers would make some money. But I look at the Fertitta brothers, who own Ultimate Fighting Championship, are bankrupt. They're in bankruptcy court in Las Vegas and Reno for $7 billion. Are these the people that are going to be the economic boom to New York State? Come on, get serious here. The lobbying effort in New York has been intense. Madison Square Garden has a lobbying firm going for it. UFC has a lobbying firm. I, not entirely facetiously, say I'm doing more for the economy opposing this than the legalization would, because of all the money coming into New York into the lobbying firms. And I think on every case the arguments falter because you can use that for anything, you know. Wait, let's have dog fighting. We can make money. We could make money off of dog fighting. We might make more money off of dog fighting than we could make out of human fighting, all right? We certainly could make money off of prostitution, all right, as they do in Nevada. But we don't want prostitution here, and we don't want dog fighting here, and we don't want ultimate fighting here. And I've heard the rationale that, oh, well, the fighters choose to do that. Well, a lot of people choose to do things that, in fact, by law, we don't allow them to do. And I've asked many people the question, do you think we could find two fighters who for $20 million would go into the ring and fight to the death? And invariably, people say, yeah, I think we could find some people to do that. So it's not a matter of choice. I think we just can't allow that kind of violence to happen in our state. That's why we don't allow dog fighting and cockfighting.
That guy is a fucking idiot.
He really is.
A moron. That is the dumbest argument. Dog fighting and prostitution.
Yeah, let me just tell you how full of shit the guy is. He's emailed me multiple times. So he emails me and he says, look, Mark, I mean, I'm shocked that you support MMA.
What?
I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm a big fan. He's like, it must be just about the money. I'm like, look, I'm not going to lie. It's good for my business, but have you watched it? Do you understand it at all?
No.
He's like, well, let me tell you what I really don't like. It wasn't all the money shit he's talking about. It was like, it promotes violence. Kids are going to watch this and go out and beat the hell out of each other. It's going to increase violence. I said, okay, if you really care about that, obviously people want to come into the state of New York and fight. So why don't you make part of the deal that a portion of the gate, a portion of whatever money comes, go to, you know, funds that, you know, or charities that help avoid street violence or train kids, or going to take kids off the street and teach them, you know, about the discipline of martial arts.
He's obviously, he knows nothing about competition. He knows nothing about martial arts. He knows nothing about
You think that guy played high school football?
Nothing.
Are you kidding me?
That guy's not representative of anybody. That guy's a fucking idiot. He's not even
we
American.
say this with Bob Riley.
That's anti-American. That's some anti-American
While we say
shit
this,
right
remember, he's the guy that's the most vocal, but he ain't, pardon the grammar, the only one up there holding it back.
No.
It's not like Bob Riley alone is standing at the door. I don't think he has a good argument.
I guarantee you this is financial. I guarantee you there are these getting some sort of incentives financially to not sanction MMA in New York, and that's the reason why. If you look into this guy's background, I guarantee you there's someone in there that supports boxing, or there's some other interest that's getting him to be vocal against MMA. Because his arguments are retarded. The dog fighting argument and prostitution,
people fighting till the death, you know. Yeah, you can fight two fighters, you fight two guys in the street.
It's so stupid. It's an organized sport. It's regulated. There's unified rules. We all accept them. There's never been a single death in the UFC. There's very stringent medical checkups, and you know, this is a stupid argument. And that guy's anti-American. Anybody that wants to keep you from doing what you want to do, that's anti-person. personal freedom. That's fucking disgusting.
No, I think you're right, though. There's got to be some self-interest. He talks about self-interest on the part of the UFC or whatever. It's got to be on his end, too. I just think, because like I said,
politician.
He's got to
say that he's a bad guy.
Yeah, that says it all right there.
And how did we know that Jason Mayhem Miller would be the voice of reason? You're right. He's a politician.
That guy's probably got a dungeon full of naked boys.
Do you think we're going to talk a bit more about this? Is this thing going to happen? I mean, because you got Madison Square Garden, you got a lot of money at stake. Everybody's going to make money off of it. The union guys are going to be setting up the lights and the rings and the cages and all that.
I mean, look, the UFC and Mark, I forget Mark's last name, the guy who does all the regulatory stuff for him.
Ratner.
Is smart. They're smart, right? Yeah. And they recognize, and we've talked to them, they recognize it's a process. And like anything else that goes from, not available, not around to available, it's going to take time.
It's who you got to pay off? Is that what you're saying?
Part of the deal.
I mean, that's real. The money rolls down the hill, and then somebody
they may not call it a payoff, but someone wants to get elected, or someone wants to get reappointed. But let me just tell you, it's not like, and we'll get into maybe this a little bit more later. What we're looking to do up until probably yesterday, you are allowed K1, you're allowed kickboxing, right? We were worked, but it has to go through one of the approved organizations. The World Kickboxing Association is in New York. So we were talking to them about putting something together, a K1, a kickboxing event, whether it's K1 brand or not, to come in and say, look, this is good and you can't stop us, just deal with it. But I think now we're going to be working with some other organizations, and so I don't think we're going to go in that direction because it might hurt it more than helps it.
Yeah.
And so
that guy needs to be voted out. That guy's a creepy politician that does not represent the will of the people.
All right. What do you think?
Everybody wants
We
to
asked the
watch
MMA junkie poll. What do you think out there instead of their natural weight?
Because it's so easy to blame something else but yourself. I always think with a lot of guys. They win, and they start losing. And then it has to be because the last guy they fought, he cuts down more weight, so he's heavier on the day of the... It's not about that. I fought 205, I fought guys 265. I never had that problem. Make up with technique, make up with stamina. But fight in your own... where you feel comfortable. If you fight like that, you don't have to die. You see those guys walking around, they're angry. I mean, they're all drained out. They're spitting. They're actually spitting to lose weight. It's simply not good for the body. And you can't put bags in there. It won't help, Just fight your own weight, and you'll do the best.
All right.
It's like James Bond.
All right, you just am. That is right. All right, split decision time, guys. Here we go. Who wins, Mayhem Miller or Sakuraba, Joe?
I can't believe you're doing this in front of me. How rude.
Yes,
well, I got to go with my boy Mayhem. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Kazushi Sakuraba. He is a legend. But Jason Mayhem Miller is a legend right now. He's on his way up. And I think, skill-wise, I think he has all the tools to beat him. I think it's going to be a tough fight. Sakuraba is very dangerous. He's always a wily veteran, but, he's taken a tremendous amount of damage in his career, and, he's a tough guy.
I'm a huge fan. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm a huge Sakuraba fan. But I'm going to beat his ass. I mean, that's just the business. I'd like to be the first man to submit him. I don't think he's ever been submitted in competition. I could be wrong about that.
I don't think he has either. I should
Mark, who would you pick?
Oh, Sakuraba.
Puff!
No,
all right.
There was no fight. Registered hands were flying
All right,
around.
guys. Will there be MMA in New York in 2011, Mark?
No.
2012.
Jason?
Oh, hell no. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. I'm going with him, 2012.
Joe?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think, and if we do, we'll go to, it doesn't matter. We'll go to Jersey, we'll go to Boston, we'll do them in Connecticut, we'll do them in Rhode Island. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let New York lose out on the money because of that douchebag.
All right, guys, let's pick our Inside MMA highlight of the week. And here are your three choices. Carol Merrill behind door number 1 shows us this one. Tiffany Connell, Angelica Brotherton. Brotherton gets the submission, gets the armbar with 1 second. Mark.
The dance.
Dance.
All day. Wheeler, all day, number 3.
Unanimous.
I'm going with the girl because she hit her with a hammer fist to the uterus. You notice that? When she had her in the position, she wasn't tapping.
I saw that real fast.
She hit her with
clean uterus.
Yeah, that was just some pure animal shit right there. That was just.
And we advise our
right for
viewers, as we
eggs.
always do, don't try it at home.
No, we don't.
All right, guys, thanks for celebrating birthday number 3 with us. We look forward to more. Mark, come
you,
back
guys.
soon. Glad to have you with us. Jason, good luck with Sakuraba.
Thank you.
Joe, thanks for being with us, man.
Thank
Look
you for
forward to
having
seeing
me.
you again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your show, too.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for watching. We start year number 4 next week. Coming up next, MFC 26 Retribution live from Edmonton. The birthday's on. I'm Kenny Rice.
And I'm Boss Rutan. And as El Bumpo would say,
Always.
Godspeed and party on.
Party on.
Happy birthday,